afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacaster. Me, host ImperialDane, Master Propaganda, Hero of Psych, Defender over the Fatherland. Another double feature. So off here to the first match on Crossing in the Woods. To the north we got Overlord here with the Oberkommando Germany, Deutschland. The 1st SS Panzerdivision Leibstandarte, tasked with forging ahead and stopping the Allied advance at least for a brief while as infantry divisions are brought up to maintain a more steady front line. In the south, the ImperialDane himself fighting for America, freedom, democracy here with the 2nd Armored Division. We got Spec Corps, Feuersturm and Luftwaffe Ground Force here for Overlord versus Rifle, Airborne and Heavy Cavalry here for me. With the Panzerfusilier Infantry Raketenbulletins versus Infantry Heavy 50 cal machine gun and Steward bulletins. A double rifle start here for me, allowing me to push it aggressively with the rifleman. Double full guns here for Overlord. Moving this when I'm actually taking up with the rifle towards here to that way put some pressure around in case he pushes it to the fuel point, can also in this case theoretically occupy the house and further be a nuisance here for Overlord. So that's sort of basically the opening here. 2nd rifle squad might move up here to push up there, but come more towards here to support in the centre, maybe even flank up behind the Germans. So there are a few options here to go for. Reasons moving straight for the fuel point. Rifle grabbing the munitions here and getting both the fuel point and the munitions pretty fast. Of course, going to be a bit of a nice amount of resources. We got Fulton moving westwards here, with others laying down sandbags, and these goes to the fuel point as well, racing forwards, and there you go, first engagement, Rifle versus Fulton's going to do here. Fulton's inflicting quite a bit of damage, already losing poor Ludwig to a few shots there as the rest of the squad safely falls back into the house. My God, take out Ludwig! Yeah, but who was Ludwig? Actually, I don't know. But there you go, more Rifle moving up and getting the Fulton's here, other squad moving a bit around. Popping back in here, he's going to probably try and stall. I'm just going to try and shoot him to bits. Closing up the other squad from here while they want to draw attention from there. Basically spreading out the fire, meaning one way or the other is going to be a lot of trouble very fast. There's 2 rifle squads, 2 1 up close, can do a lot of damage fast. Also note here in this case, most of the squad is actually firing at the one in heavy cover. There are only 2 firing from the windows here. That means this squad is actually having a huge benefit. There we go, he rushes up to the rifle close. I would say that it's a bit of a tactical error there, Overlord. Up close, the rifle tend to have an advantage versus Fulton's Grenadiers, though not quite as much as they have over the Grenadiers squad, but still, they're Fulton's in front of the rifle and getting inside the house now. And this time, I'm ordering the squad here to fire full effect here on the Fulton's out in the open, and they're going to be up close, of course. So they're going to be taking a lot of damage very fast on the rifle, and they won't be taking much damage. So overall, they're dispatched to about, say, 3 Fulton's Grenadier squads, and only was forced to retreat 1 rifle squad in the process. That's pretty good overall. Sturm popping out the rifle quickly backing up there to gain a good distance on the Sturm Pioniere. Firing at them from range, of course, is much more efficient there for the rifleman. Other squad moving about here to grab territory, not going to stick about waiting here for Overlord to pop his head out again. He's popping in here, and I'm not just going to go directly for that. I'm going to try and flank about. They're forcing the Sturm Pioneers out into the open. Maybe bait them into some sort of engagement. That might fail me a bit more in this case. It doesn't look to be working out very well. There's some securing territory in the west of America, freedom, democracy. Got more rifle, more. They're going to go for a full rifle build here versus the Oberkommando West, allows them to push more aggressively, of course, with more infantry, faster. And I believe I'm actually planning here for the captain, since I'm assuming my opponent's going to go for Mechanized Regiment. Looks as all that, in which case the Steward's going to be a pretty good choice there, plus anti-tank guns to back it up. More Fulton moving up here, rifle dispatched by the Sturm Pioneers. Again, that was an awkward engagement. I should not have actually fought there. Actually, I should move the other rifle squad from here. There are 2 points of support there. For some reason, he decided to dither about. So that was just poorly handled. Up here, recently, those Fulton Grenadiers. Looks like Overlord doesn't quite pay attention to the reason. Actually getting some good hits in there. Actually getting 1 killed pretty fast. Getting up closer into the heavy cover, they should have a better chance versus the Fulton Grenadiers. In fact, they already got 2 kills. The Fulton Grenadiers ended up losing out with a bit of good luck. In the south here, more engagement going. Sturm now being surrounded by the 2 rifle squads I've sent in, while the others are back for reinforcements. Tech is going on there. In the end, the reactions almost got the Fulton Grenadiers. We're now actually very low on health there. They could retreat, they might continue onwards. Back here, reinforcement going on. We got, no, actually the lieutenant, so I did go for that. Been a while since I played that one. But can't really figure going for the catnip pops. I'm just feeling so confident here. I know, like, on the aggression, I just don't feel like you have to worry about a immediate attempt at that. Plus, I might have some other planned shots, and it could be airborne. No, going for heavy cavalry. Either way, moving ahead aggressively, securing territory. Got most of the map here at the moment. Overlord swinging in to go for the calf point. Rifle squad could try and flank in behind here to support. But it seems like I'm just leaving it to this 1 squad to deal with it. In the west, we got Rifle moving up here. Fulton sneaking in, going for the fuel point there. And up here, Rifle almost got, well, got mostly in hand, but they're going to integrate toss of the engagement in favour of Overlord. But we got the rear moving up. Plus the lieutenant actually gives me a total of 5 infantry squads, which of course is basically one more than what Overlord got, plus my rifle better quality in most situations. The focus gun indeed, so Overlord just got a big infantry edge here versus Overlord. It doesn't help that Overlord is spreading his force out too thinly in many ways, and I feel like it's necessarily using Sturmpioneer super efficiently. But points that have been secured could lay down some mines here with the rifle, and there you go, sitting about there using heavy cavalry for exactly that purpose. Helps if he does crash out, looks here, which case and catch it up, then maybe destroy it with something else. Overlord here going for the MD-44 deal with all of my infantry. Very good choice here. There's any player with a lot of infantry machine guns can usually do a lot there to help negate it. I'll wait, lots of mines there being laid down. The more the better. Lieutenant moving up here could try and strike into the force head on, but I'd rather try and hit the cutoff points, deny him resources, maybe force him to back away from there. And also just wait for more force before making the attack. We got anti-vehicle mines down here. Almost got the cutoff point. And nothing further going down here at the base at the moment. Could go for an ambulance now. Could go for weapon racks. A few options there. But now that he's split out a bit more here, can sort of make a more considered attack that could force him to split things up a bit more. North here, we've got the infantry joining in. Lieutenant there under fire. Suppressed. And rifleman falling back as well. No pointing again. Can maintain engagement without, really gaining anything. Following up with an anti-aircraft tough tech here to deal with the infantry quite aggressively. Can be used by the looks that does require a bit more, shall we say, of a deft hand and some mines. Oh dear, looks like I didn't finish that one. More mines being laid down, but at least the ones where the fuel pun are done. Grabbing points here as well. Overall, just aiming to seize as much of the territory. If an engagement isn't favourable for me, I'll just try and disengage. That's basically how I tend to play the Allies. At least the Americans and the Serbs, the more aggressive of the two, basically. If you can win engagement, fight it. If you can't, pull back and try to hit them elsewhere. Try to force him into engagement. He can't win. Easily, anyways. So that's the basic strategy here from me. After moving up to engage the forces from both sides. Counter-attack going in to defend the fuel point from the Germans, the Krauts. And sending a grenade off here. Overlord sort of trying to deal with everything here and there, but never any concerted effort, which is great for me. There you go. Suppressor fire here from the reactions on the Sturmpioneers. I probably should have flanked up through here. So that way gain a better chance of actually suppress them. End up being a bit of waste here, but I figured it was worth a shot. Mines there being finished by the rifle. Just two guys left to do it, but they get the job done. Anti-aircraft attack rolling in there aggressively. I'm feeling reasonably confident there's nothing around to give the half-track any grief. Of course, they're being repulsed. Quickly popping down the handbrake there to ensure it doesn't do anything silly. And another push here for the cutoff point by Overlord. Very good. Still no doctrinal choices. Also worth noting, he doesn't actually have any breakthrough doctrine there to actually make use of the Panzer Facility Bulletin. Ambulance finally coming up here. Fuel point there being secured. Troops seemingly enforcing. Another MD-35 fight here for Overlord. He's likely not going to go for a flak half-track, partly due to the fuel issue. I imagine he's going to try and stall and maybe either go for a Command Panther or push ahead for the Schwerpanther to quarters. Back here, reinforcement going on. Need a bit of weight there. Ambulance is almost done. Overlord guarding the centre for the fatherland, Germany. Deutschland. Got the ambulance out. Lieutenant spearheading here with a half-track, then providing covering fire. Sturmpioneers under immediate and ruthless fire. Force retreat there for the Sturmpioneer squad, pretty good. Remaining on the defensive here, sneaking out some squads. And also on the defensive in the east. And we can see that Overlord is definitely a bit worried about how I'm playing so far. I'm putting pressure on a lot of points and obviously any weak spots. He's obviously where I'm going to sort of try and sneak in and hit hard. So he's trying to cover up all of his bases, which means he's not really strong in a lot of places, which of course makes it easy for me to defend, but also in some ways easy for me to attack. So there's a few worries here for Overlord the way he's playing currently. And more mines, because mines are great. And I feel like a lot of American players who go for heavy cavalry just tend to ignore the mines despite them being, pretty great. Pushing forward here with a large force against the forces, one squad here against a lot of infantry. I mean, he can stall and buy some time, but the question is, what is he doing with this time? And the answer is, I don't think there actually is one. Rifle, they need to fall back. Got rifling up against the MG-44. They got force coming up to support here. We got more swaps on the big. Also got the anti-aircraft up to join. But there you go. Kedmev on the spot. After their handbrake, but I should have considered the option about a Kedmev. I'm too slow. End up losing the half track. That was basically sloppy play by me there. I should anticipate a Kedmev nearby there. To be honest, I failed to do so. And the price was the loss of my half track, which could very well help Overlord get into match. Also, in this case, accidentally popped combined arms. That was not the intent. That was acting to use with a half tank and just messed up. Either way though, big mistake here, cost me 125 munitions. Definitely could have been done better there. Still, I ended up pushing back Overlord, so even though I lost some units, I still gained some ground and denied ground here to Overlord, which of course is very important. As the Americans, your job is basically just playing aggressive early, mid-game, and then translate into a strong late game. As the Overlord, let's just play a really strong early game, translate that into a decent mid-game, and then play that into a strong late game. So if I can basically sort of, deny him a good early game, so lastly making these already in the Overcommanders kind of weak mid-game even weaker, that's usually a pretty good benefit as the Americans. But there you go, pushing around, cutting off territory left and right, and just ruthlessly pursuing, laying down mines, which of course just makes it even more difficult for him to get back onto the map, since he's going to find half his unit being blown up left and right. Hitting the fuel points. At this rate, I'd probably expect Overlord just to try and stall for a Command Panther. I don't imagine he feels like he's got much better options. He is starting, I think, to slowly focus his troops better, which is good, but I would to an extent say it's been a bit slower for him to make any sort of really focused effort here against me. Got the Major out, so at this stage, 11-12 minute mark, I can already begin pushing out tanks. Overlord, not looking too great. He can't even... Well, he can theoretically go for the spare punch quarters, but it's going to be somewhat delayed comparatively, and I'm going to be able to get out a tank much faster than he can. There you go, punishing bit here for Rogue standing with the rifleman. Small chance of wipe here, but sadly does not work out for Overlord. He's still also trying to sneak up there. Decent work, but that sounded that I feel the work you want a Kubelwagen for. Mine goes off there, almost wiping out a Sturm Pioneer squad. You got the rifleman on it. Come on, kill that crowd. Kill it! Oh, god damn it. And there we go. In the end, he did not make it. Costing Overlord there his very expensive Sturm Pioneer squad. It's going to be difficult to replace, and he will have to replace it eventually for some ability to repair his tanks, which he's obviously going to go for at some stage or the other. As machine guns by is all being played too passively, like it's watching on the centre, but that's not really where he needs to be. I mean, he can't afford to play defensively. What he should be doing with his MD-34s is aggressively supporting his troops as he pushes ahead. They're trying to make it hard for me to counterattack and stop his attacks. Yet, in many cases, the machine guns are just sort of dithering about them. You can see now he's beginning to get a bit more aggressive with them. He's beginning to get a bit more there. It's also looking like he is not going to play for the Spare Panther or the Command Panther. He's actually going to go for Spare Panther's quarters. Good, in which case he might want to consider actually something like luftwaffe just to get out some fighting makers now, because some elite infantry now could give me a bit of a harder time. Forces the force to retreat, MD-34 setting up. Needs to buy time for it here with the Volksgrenadiers. A good incendiary could help out. We got smoke spin off on the machine gun now, allowing me to more to deal with the Volksgrenadiers since the machine gun can support. And up here now the mine goes off, killing numerous Volksgrenadiers, leaving them blown up or wishing they'd been blown up. MD-34 trying to set up here. Luciano should be able to bypass the MD-34. Unfortunately for Overlord, the other one guarding the centre victory point. As the first one here gets outmaneuvered and likely forced to retreat in a few moments. First German tank the ram. He's got double kid members up. He's obviously got no illusions about who's going to get out the first tank here. And if you're not going to get out the first tank, you're going to need a lot of anti-tank weapons to deal with the first tank. So we got the Sherman out here, rolling ahead for America, Freedom, Democracy, the M4A3. MD-34 kid they're being repulsed. 50 caliber being added there. The Mardus to the Sherman. MD-34 will switch back. And they're all just securing territory here and there, keeping up pressure, attacking from numerous angles. I'm not just trying to just rush ahead for everything. I'm just looking to outmaneuver Overlord, and Overlord is struggling with this. MD-34 sending up, big push here across negative cover, forces away the lieutenant successfully. Will he get that Spare Panther's quarter set up, or has he decided again that he actually wants the Command Panther, at which point the truck actually costs him a bit of time and resources there for the Command Panther. Considering he's barely getting any fuel, he can't really afford to spend fuel and stuff, that's not going to be happening. But there you go, another extended push here. OKW members backing up, machine guns sort of covering up as well. Setting up fighting position to cover the western point here. I mean, it's going to make it hard for him to harass. Going to acquire armor to deal with. The several Mechanized, so that basically increases my chances there. Heading for the east point. Mines there as well. I mean, if one mine goes off, another one's likely bound to go off as well. And clearly it did. So that's a bit of advice there for you. Like, if you see one of your mines go off there, laying down another one isn't necessarily a bad idea. I mean, he might go up with minesweepers, but a bunch of players tend never to do that. Particularly sort of the lower ranks. There goes Sherman on the move. Schwerer Panzer quarters up here for Overlord, and that pretty much, I think, snuffs out the idea of him going for a Command Panther. And he's going to be going for Panzer IVs, which rather begs the question, which doctrines are then playing for? Probably recommend... Oh, right here, but I got too greedy with my Sherman, pushed it too far ahead. Into awkward territory for the tank, and of course, ignoring the possibility of Kedmeth nearby. And that's going to cost my Sherman, so that's a pretty good kill there for Overlord, and a pretty silly loss for me. I did get a Volkskammer squad, which actually pushed him further low in infantry, but even then, losing the Sherman like that for me is pretty bad, and I would not say worth a Volkskammer squad. But in this case, I can quickly replace it. So Overlord needs to push out some better infantry, either Fallschirmjägers or Obersoldaten, and there does go for the Obersoldaten, some hardened German infantry. Something which gives the armies a really hard time, yeah. Volkssoldaten here getting blasted with the Lieutenant and the Rifleman, giving them a bit of a rough day. Back here, troops here reinforcing there for freedom and democracy, more fighting positions up here to further dig in, make it hard for them to just make any sort of easy breakthrough harassment attempts. In this regard, several fighting positions can be quite useful for you. And of course, it just makes it hard for him to get to the field points. And of course, he just further punishes him for just taking in Ornson's overs so far. Overlord is not really much of a flank, he's sort of more of a head-on attack chap. And of course, now with all the Kedmans and the machine guns sort of, angling up towards, it's going to be sort of a very sort of slow, creeping assault he's going to be committing to. Where basically just sort of leapfrogs the different support units, infantry then slowly advances, pushes ahead. It can in some ways be difficult to deal with, of course, with a lot of artillery it can. The problem is, of course, as you might have noticed, I don't have any artillery. So he's going to have a bit of a time here, using the Darwin machine guns and like Kedmans to creep ahead. Again, no leapfrogging. But this one will probably advance soon after the first select to cover up there. Troops will not be able to deal with this. And of course, you got under the cover of the machine gun, the Obersoldaten like Volkskammer and like Kedmans advancing. Moving up here. There you go, Volks getting blasted there with high close rounds, almost getting out the entire unit of Kedmans sending up here. Rifle suppressed, other rifle machine coming up against the other squad. Fighting position coming up here, but that's going to get knocked out. We got the smoke screens off here, but the problem is we won't be able to push ahead of it, and the troops are all getting suppressed and shot at quite aggressively. So with this very, very creeping assault here, Overlord is successfully active pushing me back. But again, it's also when he actually began making a concerted effort, as you noted. I mean, until now, his unit has been much more, hither and dither, not very focused. So when he actually, can put his mind to it, he can act in a much more focused way, at which point I, as the Americans, tend to struggle a bit more with all these machine guns, for example. If he'd done that a lot sooner, he would probably be in a much better state than he is now. Calling an artillery strike here as well to catch up some stuff, make it a bit harder to just rush ahead. But I will have to fall back here, and then they're getting absolutely ripped apart here with the machine guns. And the Obersoldaten just don't care. So, do you think the Americans will stop this fireworks anytime soon? You know them, Dietrich. They always keep at it, and say, maybe occasionally hit something.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Sherman being fixed up, they're taking a few hits from the Kedmans, another Obersoldaten squad on their way there for Overlord. Lots of Obersoldaten will, of course, all be hard from Riflemen to deal with, in particular since I haven't upgraded them. That's a bit of a mistake on my behalf. Of course, BAR sooner would probably also just allow me to steamroll Overlord soon, so in that regard it's probably a mistake on their part. But there you go, using mortars and Sherman's bullet smokes in there to cover ahead there. Nice little idea there. Pretty much just using his creeping force there to, cover up, allowing me to gain the fuel point back. You could, of course, just try and swing in from another angle, but Overlord, despite now getting more focused, still does not seem comfortable with the idea of flanking. Victory points wise, he's all beginning to bleed out. He's actually going for a lot of Obersoldaten. He's going for his third squad of Obersoldaten. At which point you kind of have to wonder if he can just maybe gone for some Fallschirmjäger sooner in that department. He might also be in a slightly better spot. Fulton's rifle all digging out. The MD-34 plane carrying fire there. We got, of course, from the mortar ready to punish some cracks and then go bounce off in the area here. Lands directly on the Sherman, shielding the Fulton's going to miss for most of the damage. Let's go there for Overlord. And actually suffered a loss here, a wipe. Good job there by Overlord. Got a big assault against Lieutenant. Lieutenant needs to fall back pretty rapidly. And grabbing the center victory point, he got the Sherman. No upgrades actually. Worth noting there, should be doing that. But yeah. Big engagement here. Overlord and folks with MD-34, Academy has all that. We got another Sherman away from here. Could theoretically begin saving up for approaching. I was about to say shading up for approaching. God damn. What am I, Sean Connery? Anyway, it's almost got the folks there. Sherman number 2 almost done. Central point being guarded there by the rear echelons. Sherman taking a hit from the Academy. First, you can soon begin going for a Panzer IV or a Jagdpanzer. So triple orbital done. That's a lot of orbitals in here for Overlord. That is a lot of them. Not very often you see an orbital commandos play in a go for that many orbitals, but then again you don't usually see them end up in this situation. Although Rothkopf pushed back, multiple still a bit of an issue. Second Sherman good to go. And Academy was repulsed, leaving him without any anti-tank defenses around here.
The enemy is now at 75 points.
75 points. Points there being secured. Sherman's good to go. We got the Overlord advancing it backed up by the MD-34. Double Sherman's advancing for freedom and democracy, blasting through the crowds, high explosive rounds flying left and right, and a bit through the centre. And there he goes, machine gun flanked by the double Shermans, annihilated, leaving Overlord there with very little to back them up with. Needs another pressure attack here by the Overlord, but the Overlord are not having an easy time of it, not without light machine guns of their own. Again, so the question is, why didn't you just go for Luftwaffe and Fallschirmjäger sooner then? Since, you know, while they're more expensive manpower-wise, they don't require the upgrades, and of course, it just happened out sooner, whereas the Overlord arrived so much later, so I think he's been able to do a bit better with that. Big push for the centre victory point, 41 points left here for Overlord. You can actually go for a Panzer IV or a Jagdpanzer IV soon. You could even theoretically try and say up for a Panther, though I'd not advise it.
Capture point is being overrun.
I would not advise it. There we go, finally pushing currently Western victory point here against the MD-34. And this harassment attempt still it does run to neutral. And we got our Kedman bound to deal with that. Back here, troops in reinforcing. Overlord is slowly beginning to extend a bit more aggressively here. With a bit more lack. Partly because they'll begin to extend into the west side once more.
We've lost a fighting position.
And he gets rid of the fighting positions in the west, actually getting now 2 victory points. So small victory there for Overlord, a small one in a sea of less than good victories, or less than good fights.
The capture point is being overrun.
More MD-34s out there for Overlord's infantry, still no doctrinal choice. So in also highlights just, you know, the danger of some of the Overquest doctrines. They can sort of end up being, you know, feel rather bad if you don't choose them early on, and that's kind of what I think ends up here with Overlord. They're just not feeling good for them. Probably push back, the Academy for MD-34 on the fire here from another MD-34.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture
Trying being shot to bits here with the Overlord. Now need other support there. Overlord to push in support. Push for the eastern victory point as well. You see the Overlord again is now beginning to spread out more, losing crews left and right because it's becoming hard to manage all of this, of course. And a loss of Sherman. Wasn't paying attention there. Good kill there for Overlord, but at this stage, that's not really going to cost me a lot. Overlord going for a Panzer IV to help push out his troops, blast out my infantry. And we got some Rangers out here to put some pressure on Overlord further with their Thompson submachine guns. Could have gone for them sooner, but
We're losing a capture point.
did not feel particularly necessary in this situation. Grab the eastern victory point, made moving up here to grab the eastern point as well. Overall, just continue maintaining pressure and all that, and again, using my early game advantages to maintain a strong lead into the late game, where normally the Americans tend to struggle a bit, but again, that's kind of how I do it. Rangers almost halfway done with the Thompsons. Obviously, I was a lieutenant. Got the Panzer now we got a smoking down here. I imagine there was something coming up the opposite garden. Turns out there wasn't a lot, but you know, does the job. Rangers on fire from the Panzer IV. Almost now being overwhelmed. Rifle lieutenant caught up in the blend cover smoke. And almost got an Overlord squad, but he managed to retreat through the smoke I deployed. Lucky Overlord. Lucky Overlord. Sham rolling about there, close to veteran 1. Needs to switch out to armor piercing. And there you go, MD-34 being overwhelmed by Volksguns and the Panzer IV. Overlord is slowly pushing him back here, very slowly, but he's actually doing it. Problem is, of course, he's still on victory point by now. And there we go, GG, game over. A loss for the Oberkommanders, a victory for America, a victory for aggressive, bold play, and for the Oberkommanders player failing, I think, to focus on his force. I mean, the problem was initially he plays his machine guns too passively, didn't use them to support his troops, just used the gut area, which is really not what he needed. He needed to push ahead, need to put pressure on me, also need to focus more on the fuel points, one at a time. The problem was he just kept playing very greedily, and that just made it easy to find the weak spots, hit, attack, flank, and just push him back. Plus, of course, the mines would just further punish him for it. So, overall, in that sense, he just played a rather easily countable strategy, at least for me, which is just sort of routed, and then it just, again, build up for a strong late game. So even any mistakes I make, because, you know, they're never going to happen, they're not going to hurt me too much, because I've got such a lead. I'm in a strong position where it's going to be hard for me to do anything. And right here, maybe he was beginning to turn things around, but the problem was, again, I had such an absolute lead on him, he just couldn't do anything with it. So when it comes to the Americans, it's basically about just playing the early game really well, and then just using that to, you know, play into, you know, basically avoiding the typical American issues, which again is the sort of weaker late game where you can get into problems easily if you lose units, since they tend to struggle there a bit. But on the hand, again, if you get enough strong early game, it's not going to hurt you too much. I could have gone for some weapon racks here, for some BARs, I gone for some grenades instead. That would have been worked out, I think, pretty well. But I think I did as well as I could here, pretty well. Not as best I could, I've saved it pretty well. Acceptably well, at least. I mean, I won, and I won with a decent lead. So that's basically the first part here of this double feature, so hang on for the second part. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 2 of the double feature with me, your host, ImperialDane. The match here, Arnhem Checkpoint, King and Country, the Commonwealth, Market Garden. 30th Armour Corps advancing in the north, GosuHaube here with the Kampfgruppe Hohenstaufen counterattacks. In the south, the ImperialDane pushing forward with the Guards Armour Division. We got fortifications, Luftwaffe Ground Forces, Spectral Infantry versus Commando, Vanguard, and Royal Artillery with Infantry, Machine Gun, and Combat Bulletins. Volkswagen Kuban starting here for GosuHaube, allowing to seize a lot of the territory in the early game as I go for a double section start. Of course, allowing me to seize some territory, pushing straight for the eastern resources because I want to do that, and going for Vickers. I'm going to go for 2 Vickers machine guns because I do feel like one of the issues, I think, well, one of the causes for a lot of British players suddenly striking off the nerves is they're just not using their machine guns, and they're not using them very well. So, I mean, I'm just going to try and put that to the test by going for some machine guns and backing them up with the Universal Carrier altogether. Sandbags up to defend the fuel point there, section moving up towards the east. Points being seized in the west by the Volkswagen Sturmpioniere. We got the Kuban out here as well for GosuHaube, advancing there for Das Vaterland. There you go, Vickers machine gun out, and I go immediately in this case for Commando Regiment. I might actually want to go for Vanguard, but that's another story. Probably fits a bit better, I think, the larger map, to be honest, with some of its abilities. But heading here for the eastern victory point. I'm not going to push for the centre. I know a lot of people like to do that, but it's just, you know, where most people head to, so I'd rather just, you know, grab the eastern fuel point first and then try and flank the bastard while he doesn't expect it. In this case with the Vickers and the section, catching the Sturmpioneers in a very nasty crossfire. Taking the Sturmpioneer section, in fact, down to roughly half health, so he's going to have to quickly lay down some metal kits to get them healed up, but they're going to suffer in a future engagement. Section was Kuban here in the east. Shots being fired back and forth as the Kuban pushes ahead here for the fatherland aggressively trying to ram the section until it realizes it can't. There you go, Kulvang down to half health already, securing the centre. Vickers setting up. This second Vickers on the way. Pushing back the Kubelwagen. So there you go, second Vickers machine gun team out. Volks moving in, the third Volks on the way here for GosuHaube. And there's a secured, Vickers covering up. We should be able to find the Volks there. There they go. They quickly fall back when they find out that today's sermon is British led and the wonders it can do to the German Constitution. There we go, following up the Universal Carrier helps me to support my troop with a mobile element. Can also cover the flanks of the Vickers machine guns. Basically, a lot of utility. GosuHaube that's going to charge in the east with a full going to escort into. Now, that is not where the Kubelwagen was, you know, where there's not going to be a lot of fighting. Rather, he's sending it where he's more likely going to encounter something there, which is a bit weird. Usually, that's where we're sending full going to these Sturm Pioneers. Fulls are called out in Arnhem as the section is advanced aggressively through the town centre. Vickers moving up on the flank. Setting up here. Fulls going to be able to flank it. I'm not going to treat the Vickers this time soon enough, as I'm going to try and use it as bait to get some damage on the Fulls going to do, spot my Vickers there. Partly being an active count, of course being outflanked is going to take a lot more damage here than I actually anticipated. That was a mistake on me. I in fact even lose the Vickers, but they go hit retreat. I'm at a small chance of the section of support. We got the Sturm Pioneer moving in, finding up north here as well. Other Vickers here should probably push it hit, but I kind of want to at least keep the centre in that sense, my west flank covered. And moving up here with the USF to support the section, which is getting bloodied here by the Sturm Pioneer up close. Good lord, we've got a lot of dead people here. Well, that's what the Germans do. They shoot people, Terry. They shoot people. Well, so do we. I don't see as many dead Germans here. Big cascade being added. Going to be pretty good with all this infantry that GosuHaube is throwing at me. Another Volks escort on the way there for the German army. For the Kampfgruppe Hohenstaufen. And a Kampfgruppe could also basically, you know, how a division, if it suffered losses, could be designated. So like it's barely just, you know, functional, could be designated as a Kampfgruppe instead of a division. So that way give the commanding officers, you know, on a higher level some idea what the strength of the division was and how well, you know, much it was actually reliable. We got tech up there for me. There's going to be some ACs here, because I'm not going to anticipate him going for Mechanized regiment, particularly on a large map like this. In which case the AC is going to prove to be very, very helpful. They will go for some sappers first, I believe. Fult's going to be advancing for GosuHaube. Still an optimal choice for him. Got the Vickers moving up with the section. Going to try and push out more aggressively, using the Vickers to back things up. That's the Universal Carrier coming up. We've got sappers on the way. They're going to help us prepare my Universal Carrier as well. And there you go, folks. Out now getting blasted by the Dahl machine guns. Poor Jürgen drops dead. Setting my car on there, good move by GosuHaube, keeping my resource income under control, at least slowing it down. Buy some more time as well to push ahead. Overall, very good moves there by GosuHaube. Folks getting blasted by the Universal Carrier, already 4 kills. And in the west section, pushing ahead here, Vickers grabbing territory, going to follow up, of course. I still probably should be doing more with this Vickers in the centre. Being a bit too lazy with it. But the other one is being used more actively, so usually having 2 machine guns, you can get away with one of these being sort of parked in one spot, but then you got to sort of play the other one, you know, a lot more actively to make up for it. Section with the Covenant, got folks moving up here as well, could probably interrogate to flush me out. Universal applying covering fire in a few moments. And then using suppressive fire to deal with the Fult's Grenadiers, or at least trying to. Section needs to retreat very quickly, and in fact I might be retreating too late here. Could risk a wipe, and that's in fact what happens here, punishing me folks, getting too greedy there, or at least too reckless. So good work there by GosuHaube, Sturm Pioneer with a Panzerweg to counter my Universal Carrier, clearly hating it. And there you go, almost got the Universal Carrier forcing away here. Vickers moving eastwards here to cover the calf point. This section goes for the fuel point in the west. So we end up basically trading fuel points here by the looks of it. Down here, replacement section on the way, quite costly loss for me, could always maybe say gone for some Commandos soon enough. If I'd not had to replace that, or maybe push out a faster AC. So, definitely losing a section there hurts quite a bit, and that was basically a big mistake on my part. There you go, hitting his calf point, hitting his fuel point. Vickers remains in the centre. Not really seeing a lot of action, which again should be another indicator. Should really be moving this machine gun. But again, I mean, hell, I could have, done a lot better in the east had I just moved the machine gun from here to say there or there. There's, it's just no excuse for me being absolutely sloppy with this Vickers. No excuse. There you go, troops running in. Just as I move the Vickers machine gun. Get caught there, and that's going to force retreat from me. Going up again with the Universal Cavalry with the Vickers machine guns and the Bren, of course. Blasting those filthy hands. Are you sure they're filthy? The Germans seem pretty hygienic to me. Not that kind of filthy, you twat. Up here, section versus Volksgrenadiers being shot at, blasted to ribbons. Section will have the advantage. There you go. We got spec ups here. Infiltration assault against a section. Dodged, then the Volksgrenadiers are routed successfully. And right here, make a mistake when the US came in to find. I actually barely avoid a mine, and then I end up almost losing it to the Panzerschreck and the Sturmpanzers, but somehow managed to salvage my Universal Carrier. Really close. That was not well done by me. I forgot all about the Sturmpanzer with the Panzerschreck and turned to that system. They'd be waiting there by the field point. So, well played by GosuHaube, absolutely sloppy play by me. No excuse. AC Mark 3 on the way though. Trying to dig them out. And the best we got the biggest moving up, but that's not going to do much on its own, to be honest. AC almost done. Sappers section moving up to attack the Sturmpioneer behind the heavy cover. And grab that fuel point back for King and Country. Meanwhile, Beak's going here for the cuff point. To basically just deny fuel there for a bit longer. Sappers taking loss from the Sturmpioneer. Assault there was not good enough. And we got the Mechanized rating with the Puma almost down there for GosuHaube. That's going to be a bit of an issue for me because they're repulsed. Outflanked by the Kuvan. Good work there by GosuHaube. Back here. Repair's going to happen because if I got another sapper section now. There's other troops getting reinforced, but first medic kits. There you go. AC. Dusty job. And he's finally routing those blight Germans from the fuel point. Securing it for old Blighty. Alright, I guess that's the war one. Pop up some tea, would you? That's not the war one. It isn't? No. We gotta, like, drive to Berlin and shoot Hitler in his mecha suit. What's a mecha suit? Why would I have to shoot Hitler there? Well, Wolfenstein. Wolf. What's wrong with you, Terrence? What's wrong with you? Point there being secured. With an MG-34 there, backing up. GosuHaube help deal with my infantry. Of course, they're getting blasted out in the open. Section moving up. Got the Vickers backing up there as well. Against those dastardly Jerrys. Big push here of the vehicles, machine guns and infantry. Nice little combined arms assault. Got the Puma and right here backing up GosuHaube's infantry, none of which have been upgraded with the near assault rifles. There we go, Veteran 2 on the Universal Carrier. Puma moving ahead, troops getting blasted by all machine gun fire. Making hard here for GosuHaube to continue assault, but he moves in with the Puma first. And there he goes, shoots, misses the AC Mark 3. And then I make a bold move and go for the second one. Basically figuring I got two, I should be able to take on the Puma head on and win. In this case, I just tried to sort of immobilize it. Make it hard for him to pursue and just pull back my AC there, if it could hit. Apparently it can't. That's less fortunate for him. Still buys me time for the other AC to arrive, so I'm coming up to with the Kugelwagen in the east. We got the section standing about here. For some reason the pathing messes up a bit there for the AC, makes so it doesn't get out of the range of the Puma sufficiently fast enough. Big as those nice long being to pay off here around the centre. Not a lot, but still some. Puma rounding about here, trying to find my AC, but I almost got the second one ready. So there you go, double ACs. Not something you see a lot from the British. I'm basically going on this because A, it's gone for Puma's been able to harass the fuel somewhat efficiently, and I think if it goes for any armor fast enough, theoretically, double ACs, as long as to keep them operable, should be able to deal with that as well. I mean, a pair of ACs actually a surprisingly, cost efficient measure. They do also require a bit more work than just going for a single tank. Sturmpioneer pushing for the curve point, forcing those dastardly Inslaufen away from it. Second trying to flank here, does not quite work out. They're surprisingly durable despite having their flank exposed. At least that's what I thought at the moment. They're cool bombing up with a lot of filters backing up. Here goes the Harbour's attack. Lots of finding on the fuel point. In fact, the centre's just barely seeing any action. This is actually how it's supposed to be. I mean, there's no fuel there, so I mean, you know, it's good for controlling movement, which is basically why I'm sort of keeping machine gun there. But beyond that, it's not exactly, you know, worth fighting over because your tanks don't drive on central victory points. So it's good to see GosuHaube has at least caught that on. Not all players that do, but there you go. Double ACs, good to go. Looks flying up here for GosuHaube. Going there for the Kugelwagen. Gets it, and there you go. Puma versus double ACs. Got a couple of hits there, and pop smoke. AC's pulling ahead here. Should actually not that, and there you go. Both miss, much to my annoyance. Arm moves ahead and misses again. Falling back with that one. Puma misses the AC, that continues to miss as well. I got no troops to back up. He needs to get the University repaired first. More Panzerfaust off an AC. That's going to cost me that one. So didn't get the Puma and ended up losing an AZ. Not a good engagement there for me. Though did damage the Puma. It's not, you know, dead Puma. So my basic option is either going to try and stall for like some armor of the bigger kind or just keep going for ACs. Guess which one I go for. Find out in a few moments. Commandos called in here to try and, you know, get a jump on the Jerrys. Fixing up the AC Mark III. Flying on the west here. Sabbath versus Fox going to do this. Up close they can win here, I believe, with their ability there to gain some bonus and veterans with veterans running cover. There you go. They're shredding those sausage eating krauts in the west. I hit the bloody mine straight on, killing several commandos, destroying the glider on landing. That was some really rubbish luck for me. And I guess a great mine there for GosuHaube. Though I imagine he did not envision that is how it would come in handy. I mean, I don't think most players go, alright, this is mine, it's going to destroy a British glider with the commandos in it. But yeah, I go for another AC here. I basically figure, alright, the only way I could sort of win this is just push it fast enough now instead of trying to stall for anything and just wreck his armor with my ACs, or light armor. A bold and aggressive move, also pretty risky, but again, never make any mistakes because they will, you know, cost me the game. But there you go. Looks down, Foxman up there trying to Panzerfaust it, and they do get it off. Second AC almost done. Puma moving down here, trying to somehow buy time, but not quite working out here. And there you go. Puma shoots. AC shoots and misses. And knocked out. The crew rightfully predicting they're buggered. Corpses continue to pile up in the vineyards. I mean, they're going to be very, very rewarding at some point later down the years, but for now they're just getting obliterated. And that is the third AC there on the way. You don't see that a lot. I mean, that many ACs. And you're going in with the AC there against the Puma. Flanking up here and then going to go for target tread. There we go. That Puma's going nowhere. Nice shooting, Jerry. Thank you. And there you go. He pops him at the right time. I try to take it out and he managed to escape here with a Puma. Much to my annoyance. But no. Oh, got the main gun. Got the main gun. Just another hit here. Try to kill any Germans. And there you go. Finally got the bloody Puma. Several AZs later, that's dead. How many have actually gotten lost in here? That's just two just to alive. Just being sure for a brief moment. Commanders there avoid most of the grenade assault. They still take a few losses there in the end. Light gun bomb dropped. Technically, it wasn't actually a timed grenade. It was a percussive grenade, meaning once it felt an impact, it would have gone off. Fun fact. Hitting the fuel point there with the Vickers on his own. One here in the centre holding off nicely. Those should be retreated from healing reinforcement. And there you go, jump tank straight into the Vickers. Going to try a grenade here, but they will, I think, pay quite the price for it. Commandos pulling up. AZ good to go there. And will he go for more Pumas? Will he try and stall for the Command Panther? Either way, he just lost units of light cannon bomb. Counter attack towards the west here. Let's go to Harbour Centre, find himself struggling a lot more with the fuel points. He's certainly got a bit of resources floating about there, so he could probably get away with stalling with the Command Panther. That would in some ways be a bit risky. Sabba's flanking up here and quickly getting suppressed though by the machine gun. In the unit that was actually reasonably far away got suppressed there, much to my surprise. And I end up accidentally popping the wrong ability. I didn't intend to use assault, but it did. Really terrible timing, and then I pop what I actually intended, which is the Commando glide insertion. Moving up the AC, using it aggressively to harass and just pressure my opponent. Now the assault to the centre of the Vickers continues to be quite the nasty threat for them. There you go, Commando Squad hitting the point. This time, not hitting a mine either. Outstanding work. Back here, troops hitting reinforcing. As GosuHaube finally lays claim to the centre. After much bloodshed, many casualties, he finally gets his hands on it. But will it do him enough good? That's the other question. There you go, GosuHaube ends up calling another Puma. Possibly feeling the fire there of my AEC Mark III. He resorts himself to stop it before he tries to stall for a Command Panther, perhaps figuring it's not going to work out. In particular not with the way I'm just denying fuel anyways. The commanders there probably not helping to the situation for GosuHaube. Sturm Pioneers low on health, need to do something about that. We got double Vickers and Sabs advancing for the Commonwealth for the Guards Armed Division against the SS Kampfgruppe. And there you go, grenades off in this section. But it's just not enough, not with all these machine guns backing it all up. Volkswagen Glass, we've got the Puma sitting out there for GosuHaube. With more Volkswagen there, he's just charging that, he's just churning them out. He probably needs more Sturm Pioneers to be honest, but he just keeps going for those Volksgrenadiers. Like a reflex more than anything. And there you go, double Vickers on the Sturm Pioneers. Raking the windows and the altar there with this British lead. If he doesn't cheat soon, he's going to risk getting them white. It looks like one man managed to escape. Commando shooting here in the face of the Puma Volksgrenadier combo. Sabres in the east, overwhelmed by the Volksgrenadier assault here from GosuHaube and the Hohenstaufen. Back here, troops reinforcing, healing up. I could probably get away with taking up soon enough. And the Vickers is having a long time getting flanked here by GosuHaube's Volksgrenadiers. And the Puma joining in for some good old-fashioned German fun. Healing reinforcing going on there. Got section commanders charging in against GosuHaube's line here by the carve point. Puma backing it all up. Doing some work there as the Commandos, but not enough on its own. And the folks they just basically hold it by a Vickers sitting up there. 9 kills, actually 2. At least he got the western fuel point back. Some time off there from the Command Panther, they're not too far off either. I could begin to actually continue taking up now and so move ahead for some medium armor versus him. I should also consider laying down some mines, to be honest, with my sappers. Lots of good spots to mine up, to be honest. Here. For example, just in the centre, there's a lot of good mining spots. As for GosuHaube, I think he needs to begin making some sort of larger attack. This way he tries to overwhelm me through proper application of flanks and pressure. But so far, he seems to be mostly resort here to sort of minor piecemeal attacks, which is much easier just defend against and push back. Grenade exchange here. With this section, they're taking some heavy damage to the active pop the Kamikaze grenade. Nice work there by GosuHaube. Overlooked grenade, did not anticipate that. And we got the Vickers there pushing up, providing support for the troops there. And there you go, GosuHaube and then move once more. No assault rifles of the Volksgrenadiers. I'm actually surprised he's not bothering with that one at all. And there you go. Finally, over 20 minutes into the game he begins going for Sturmgewehrs. Back here healing reinforcement, take going up for me. As I'm sweeping out the west, he's pushing very hard down the east. Very big attack here with lots of infantry, machine guns, and the Puma. It looks like it could be a minor diversionary attack to basically draw attention away from it, to just put pressure on me there to make it hard for me to just immediately move westwards, or eastwards. I mean, not westwards, that's where I largely already am. But there you go, big push for GosuHaube. Machine guns being set up, and whatnot. Mines down. There we go. Diversion attack happening in the west. And sapper straight into the machine gun here, and all the advanced troops standing still there. Commandos 6 moving up here. Going to move up here to defend as well, try and flank as well. Light gun them off. Could consider some regular grenades in the sections actually. And there you go. Must got the full grenadiers. He's really not been doing a great job dodging my gammon bombs, to be honest. Taking quite a few hits from here. Machine gun defending, catching 2 infantry squads. His diversion assault is quickly thwarted and stopped in its tracks. A machine gun hidden behind an orbital blitz. And EK commits the second Puma, which I think pretty much signals here, of course, at least for the time being, he's given up on any chance at the Command Panther. Sabres are repulsed. And again, another light gun bomb straight into the 2 infantry squads, and oh, he doesn't retreat. Huge casualties. Glide explodes. Unit wiped. The Sturmpaniers look to be making their way there, but that was quite the bloody thing, and that just comes away because it was made out of, I don't know, feathers. But there he goes. Axeman taking control of the eastern resources now. Puma, machine guns, infantry all backing it up then. With the second Puma, it's going to be a lot harder for me to deal with it directly. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm basically just going to flank it. I'm just going to tag up through here, and I'm going to attack him from the rear. That way, catching support weapons off guard, and, you know, also importantly, threatening the retreat, you know, parts of a lot of his infantry. And basically just make it hard for him to get away with anything. So I'm just sending in a lot of troops. AC hanging in reserve here. So we can go for a tank.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
And there you go, just slowly moving behind here. Getting the cutoff point, so basically, you know, you can't do anything with this anyways. Meaning he has to move into it somehow to deal with this. One way or the other. Baker setting up there, just putting more pressure on here. Focuses Sturmpaniers with the AC command setting up. Let's have something in. 2 pushing forward, they're going to move straight to the machine gun if he's not careful. Because he's trying to counter-attack, but he's always sending in depleted troops. Which means, of course, once they try to retreat, they're going to be quite vulnerable. Particularly to say, you know, my Commandos. Particularly to say, once he's retreating across negative covers, there you go, punishing him. And again, this is what happens really, your flanks exposed to someone like me. I'm going to take advantage of it at any possible juncture. Leaving here, GosuHaube is now forcing them very, very terrible state. I mean, the Pumas are doing some work, but it's just not enough to make up for it. Commandos versus full grenadiers, having got a repulsive Sturmpanier, almost taking that. In fact, they're Veteran 5, good work by GosuHaube. AC moving up to part of the first support, but Puma's all being taken out here by the machine gun, finding everything else. And there you go. Puma kaput. Planting with the foot goes up close. Veteran 3. Jerry's are dropping. He's there he goes, going for it. He's taking the bait. He's going to move straight to the mine here. Straight into the mine. And then he's going to take fire from the Vickers with the rearm exposed. The Vickers will have to do some reliable damage. There you go. GG from GosuHaube. Realizing he's sacked like the Bismarck. So there we go, second part here of the double feature, more aggressive game with a lot more casualties and a lot more armoured cars, which you really don't see. But of course, in the end, I think to a large degree, just decided by this massive flank. But again, it was all just to highlight just how important, you know, hitting the field points are, controlling them and denying them to the opponent is. In this case, GosuHaube was much more on it. It was also to a degree, I think, much more focused on it than, you know, Overlord. But even then, it just wasn't quite enough. My machine gun play, I would say, was impeccable, not quite so on the level I would have wanted it to be, but I still think, you know, the Vickers actually played, you know, a role several times there throughout my engagements. I made some, you know, slightly less good ones, but in the end I still pulled through, partly due to the ACs, but also just, you know, aggressive play, flanking and outmaneuvering my opponent, looking to engage for engagements I can actually win and then actually winning them and just denying him territory otherwise. Could have laid down more mines to make it hard for him. I could have gone for Bren guns, or I could have laid down some mines, more mines than this. So I mean, there's certainly some room for improvement in there. As for GosuHaube, I think he was, you know, trying to flank and outmaneuver me more, to be honest, than he actually did. Like, he was, I think, too quick to, in some cases, concede territory to me, and other times I think, like, could have probably punished me harder for some of the moves I made, but he just never did so. And I definitely think he went for too many full scummies. He's probably better off to say Fallschirmjäger or something else to put more pressure on my infantry and support weapons. So, yeah. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this double feature. Seemed like the last one was reasonably popular, so I'm trying out another one here. From, again, matches that aren't quite long enough, and again, normally wouldn't be casted, but, maybe there'll be some interesting bits here. Again, certainly highlights just how powerful the Allies can be if you get off a good early game, which is largely what they're all about. Even the British was a sort of a late game faction. You just pull off a good early game. They're much, much harder to deal with. And you can actually do it as long as you just remember to use your machine guns actively. Again, active machine gun usage, I am personally very convinced is sort of key to playing the Brits now. And it's definitely the one thing I'm not seeing a lot of British players do. So, feel free to disagree with me on that one. But also just, lots of them on the cars. You don't see it a lot, but, it can be done. Though it is obviously not without risks. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this double feature. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. And of course, let me know in the comments. So, thank you for joining in. Also, big thanks to Salvatore and Jake. Big thanks to you for supporting the Propagandacast, allowing me to keep doing this day after day. And of course, you too can support the Propagandacast by donating. Links in the video description. They could also pledge on Patreon if you want to do that instead. So big thanks to all those who have already done that. And of course, a big thanks to all those who might consider doing it. This is ImperialDane. Cheers. Thank you for watching. You all a wonderful audience. I hope to see you all tomorrow again for another sounding episode. Bye.